Okay. Hello. We're here. And in a twist of events,
we're in the same room.
We're sitting next to each other.
Again.
I know.
It's very special.
It is. It is. This is for a little bit of a different reason, though, because Katie and I are in, again, an Airbnb. But right now it's just the two of us because our other two friends from college are coming tomorrow.
And all four of us will be in the same place.
Yes.
Which only happens really once a year, if we're lucky.
Yes, we have an annual friend reunion trip.
Yes, friend trip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we have now been friends for 20 years.
20 years, baby.
Yeah.
I know.
Since college.
So this is an extra special anniversary trip, 20 years. You can do the math now and figure out how old we are. Yeah. In case you couldn't tell already by our references.
Yeah. We're not millennials at all. I'm Katie.
And I'm Emily.
We're two long-distance best friends with a passion for learning about all the things that make everyday life interesting.
With my PhD in geography
and my master's in library science,
doing deep dives on topics is our idea of a fun time together. We'll share our findings with you on
Researching the Obvious.
So it's very exciting. What did we do today? We drove to this Airbnb.
And we got to go to Wegmans.
Yeah. And I took Katie to Wegmans so that we could stack up.
Yes.
For our trip.
And it was an experience. We ate breakfast at Wegmans. Yes. And then incidentally, we also ate lunch.
Correct.
Wegmans. Because unfortunately, we got all of our groceries and got on the road. And then I discovered that my phone was not with me.
And then when she did the Find My Phone, it was located in the Wegmans.
Yes.
So
by the time we got back to Wegmans, we then needed lunch.
Ready for lunchtime. So that was a interesting start to our day, but
a lot of Wegmans time. A lot of Wegmans time.
But we're here now, and it's very exciting. All right. Like that. So speaking of college
and friendship,
and our 20-year friendship, I'm so excited that this episode is called the Sloppy Joe Incident, and we will be talking about Sloppy Joes.
Me too. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes.
Like recording this episode.
I feel like we had to wait to record this episode until all you listeners realized that we weren't that unhinged. And now we will have this episode and you can reevaluate. Or just you're already on board. It's fine.
You have a feel for our dynamic now, so you'll probably appreciate this.
Appreciate this story. Yeah. So let's start with why Sloppy Joes.
Yes.
Why Sloppy Joes? And
what is the Sloppy Joe incident?
Specifically, the Sloppy Joe incident. Why did we name this episode the Sloppy Joe incident? Yeah. So it all goes back to spring semester of freshman year.
So we've been living together for only like 1.5 semesters.
Yeah. And if you remember correctly, we were randomly paired together because we said that we were non-smokers and wanted to live in the honors dorm.
Right.
So, there was a lot to go on there. And, it was college. You're living with someone that you're not used to living with.
Right. Yep. We're still getting used to each other, I think, feeling each other out. We're getting along.
Oh, yeah.
And we're enjoying spending time together.
We were I would say we were, roommate friends. It was oh, I like my roommate, actually. She's kind of cool. And we hung out together for sure.
Yeah.
Right. But we'd realistically only known each other for 5 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Not very long.
Yeah. 5-6 months. I don't know. Not very long. And it's also college. There's stress.
Yeah.
Stressful.
Especially with us, I feel like we were extra stressed in college.
Well, we lived in the honors dorm.
Yeah, we did.
We probably did it to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we wure more stressed then.
Yeah. And this was before we discovered the joys of Nancy Drew to
motivate us. Take the edge off of preparing for finals or getting that essay done.
Yeah. So how does this start? Well, basically, we end up in some sort of fight.
Yeah, with
each other.
Pretty vehement fight.
Yeah. There was
raised voices.
Yes. Active yelling down the hallway of the dorm.
Yeah. People were looking.
Oh, people were sticking their heads out of the room. What are these crazy bitches doing?
neither of us remember what this fight was
No,
about. It was unimportant.
Yeah, that's the thing. Looking back on it, I have no idea what we were yelling.
Nope. I don't either. What got us to that point?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
What were we so upset about? That's why I think it just must have been, college stress or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like just both in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Getting on each other's nerves or whatever. And Emily decides she's going to leave for dinner. And this is the point, too, where I remember you were walking down the hall because you were like, fine.
Yes.
I'm going to dinner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just like, and then I'm getting out of here. I'm going to leave. And then that's when we started yelling at each other down the hallway.
Yeah. Because then I kind of followed you and heckled you down.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a weird, I really don't know.
I don't either.
This is the part that we sort of block out because we're like, what even was that? Yeah. I don't know. But so from my perspective, here's what happens next is I storm off, go down the stairs, get out of the dorm. And our dorm was very close to one of the dining halls on campus. So, it was maybe like a 5-minute walk.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah. So I storm over, go over to the dining hall, sign into the dining hall, go in the dining hall, look at what's for dinner. And it's Sloppy Joes. What's for dinner? And I had a moment where I'm standing in the dining hall with my tray, staring at the fact that it's Sloppy Joes for dinner. And I was like, oh, damn it. Katie's going to be really upset if she misses Sloppy Joes for dinner.
Yeah, because I'm a big Sloppy Joe fan. It was one of my favorite dining hall meals.
Yeah, and somehow I already knew that. I knew you were going to be very upset.
Very disappointed.
Because I also knew that if you weren't coming to dinner, you just weren't going to eat.
Oh, yeah. And then it probably would have, the mood would have gotten worse.
Yeah, you would have been upset.
Yeah.
And
hungry.
Yeah. And because you're upset, you just wouldn't have come.
Yeah.
So I just remember standing in the dining hall being like, shit. Katie's going to be so mad if she misses Sloppy Joes. So I leave the dining hall, go outside, and pull out my Razor flip phone or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Some shitty flip phone, cell phone. And call the dorm room phone.
That's right, because we had a landline, folks.
Yeah.
We had a landline in our dorm room.
And I also strategically called the dorm room phone because I think that I had in my brain that if I called Katie's cell phone, she wouldn't answer.
Oh, that makes so much sense. I probably wouldn't have been like, that bitch. I just decided I hated her as she stormed away.
So I'm standing outside and I call Katie and I'm like, Katie, there's Sloppy Joes in the dining hall. And I think your response was, oh shit, okay, I'll be right there.
Yes. No, yeah, and so from my perspective, I'm letting in the dorm room, stewing in my own anger and irritation for God knows why, because it was clearly nothing important.
No idea. Yeah.
But I was mad. So I was sitting there being mad at my desk. And I just decided I was going to be mad for a long time. And then the phone rings. And so I pick it up because I think it could be I don't know, one of our parents or whatever. Yeah.
Whoever would have called the dorm room phone.
And it's Emily on the other end. She says, there's Sloppy Joes at the dining hall. And I'm like, oh, I love Sloppy Joes. And I was just I immediately understood the olive branch that was being presented to me and I accepted it. And I was just okay, be right there. And then we ate Sloppy Joes together in a pretty quiet meal, by the way. We weren't in the mood chit chat.
No, but we sat together.
Yeah,
I waited for Katie, and then we went into the dining hall together, and then
and went
got our Sloppy Joes and sat and ate them. Yeah, quietly across the table.
Yeah,
and then after that, I think it just solidified.
It was a turning point. I was she gets me. We get each other.
Oh no, we're in this for less.
All because of Sloppy Joes. Because what if you had gone to the dining hall and it was just some other random night? I'm sure we would have made up.
What if it was turkey and gravy?
Right. She never would have called me. But we might have stayed mad at each other all night.
Yeah.
Who knows? We probably would have woken up the next morning fine, though.
Probably. I mean,
we were pretty good at that.
Clearly, we were also just mad about nothing.
Yeah. And we got over stuff pretty fast, too.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like I said, I don't even know what the fight was or anything. I just know we were yelling at each other, causing a scene.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh shit, Sloppy Joes.
Yep.
So that has forever become known in our annals of friendship as the Sloppy Joe incident.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. And a story we tell quite frequently to other people. I mean, I think we even were laughing about it at the time. Like within a few days, I feel like we were like,
oh, for sure. Oh yeah, no.
We're like, that was nuts. Like, what are we doing?
It quickly became a joke.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
We were both like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What was wrong with us?
Yeah. At Katie's wedding, I made a friendship slideshow and included the Sloppy Joe incident as its own slide.
Yep. It was a turning point, a milestone.
Pivotal moment.
Yep.
Core.
Yep. Cannot express the importance of Sloppy Joes in our relationship enough.
Yeah. It's true. So when we were coming up with ideas for episodes for this podcast, I was like, well, obviously
we should talk about Sloppy
Joes. One
Joes.
has to be about Sloppy Joes. Yeah. What's interesting though is that prior to doing the research for this episode, we had never actually looked up anything about Sloppy Joes, which I'm actually shocked about.
I am too, because think about how many times this story has come up and we never were like, I wonder where that sandwich came from.
Yeah, why is it called a Sloppy Joe?
Yeah.
Where did it come from? Yeah. When were they invented? Well, I know. It never
we had
never came up, which is shocking a little bit.
I guess we were just more focused on the story itself instead of the sandwich.
True. The heartwarming story of friendship. Yes. Yelling at each other in a dorm and then eating Sloppy Joes silently in a dining hall. So, in case you couldn't tell, we're about to deep dive in this episode, all things Sloppy Joe.
All things Sloppy Joe.
Yes.
Sloppy Joe.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. So first of all, I think we need to go over what exactly is a Sloppy Joe. And if you are from New Jersey and this is sounding crazy to you, don't worry. Yep. We will talk about you, New Jersey, in a little bit. But for most of the United States, what are the main ingredients?
So the main ingredients of a Sloppy Joe would be ground beef and then a tomato-based sauce, usually some bell pepper, and then quote-unquote seasonings. So I would say seasonings are probably up for debate because probably everyone might do theirs a little different. Or, for example, when we talk about the pre-made Sloppy Joe products later, they also don't divulge their seasonings.
Right. Proprietary blends.
Right. But it is a tomato-based sauce. It's a little bit sweet and has some bell peppers and the ground beef. And then, of course, you could add other things too. But that's the most basic, simplest.
Right. And then served on like a hamburger bun.
Oh, yes. And I would say typically traditionally a plain white like hamburger bun, like nothing fancy.
Yeah, not like a Kaiser roll or anything. Just like a standard hamburger bun. So I wanted to find out where this came from. Is there a reason why we have combined these ingredients and why it's become fairly standard, and when did this occur? Why is it named Sloppy Joe? That kind of thing. So I looked up a little bit about the history of Sloppy Joes, and to be fair, there are two competing tales. And pretty much every website I found corroborated the fact that there are two storylines here. So seems a bit like a point of contention of which is the real story of the history of Sloppy Joes. I have thoughts that I will divulge later. The first tale of the history of Sloppy Joes is that they come from Sioux City, Iowa. And in Iowa, something that we probably could have talked about in our regional food episode if we had all day to do that episode. A food that's popular in Iowa is called a loose meat sandwich. There's a lot of different names for loose meat sandwiches. Yeah. Sometimes they're called made rights or tavern sandwiches.
Yeah. By the way, loose meat, ew. Like, I just cannot get behind meat. There's something not appetizing about that name.
Well, one of the other names for a loose meat sandwich is a tasty with two E's. So tasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still better than loose. I don't know that I want my food ever described as loose. Really?
Yeah, you might be right. And I'm not sure that I want my food described as like packed either, but loose is.
Yeah.
You may have heard of loose meat sandwiches from the TV show Roseanne. That was a big plot line in that show. But basically in, the 1920s, 1930s, ground meat was popular and people were looking for ways to stretch the meat because it was expensive and we were in depression. And
seems like a very common story of that time for a lot of foods.
Yeah. So basically these sandwiches were created because they were consisting of ground meat, so ground beef, and then people would add different fillers to the meat to stretch it a little bit. So sometimes people would add breadcrumbs or onions or other things to stretch it. And then they just put it on a bun. And so supposedly at Floyd Angel's Cafe in Sioux City, Iowa, there was a chef. He decided he would add tomato sauce to the loose meat sandwich. And there you have it. It became...
Supposedly.
Right. So it was a cook at Floyd Angel's Cafe. He adds tomato sauce to their version of the loose meat sandwich.
And then just somehow...
And the name...
Right. That's always my question.
Yes. So the name is that supposedly the chef who did this, his name was Joe.
And someone came up with sloppy.
And
did he come up? We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. We don't know.
It's very vague.
We also don't know how the word sloppy got put in there in this story. It just says his name was Joe. And then I guess because it was a loose meat sandwich, maybe someone said it was sloppy. I don't know. Anyway, that's that story.
Yep.
That's one tale. The second tale,
so much more fun,
is a lot more fun to tell. So the second tale goes back to Key West, Florida, and really to Havana, Cuba. So
exotic.
I know. So the way this tale goes is that in Key West, during Prohibition, there was a dude named Joe Russell, and he was a rum runner. And so, you might have heard the term rum runner from the drink. But that, of course, is named after these people who smuggled rum across from Cuba and other Caribbean islands into the United States during Prohibition. And so Key West is only about 90 miles away from Cuba. So pretty easy waters to go and smuggle rum into the United States. So Joe Russell, he's a rum runner, and he would go to Cuba and sell and then bring back rum and then sell that out of a window in Key West. This story also includes a character you may have heard of.
Oh, I know.
Ernest Hemingway.
Yes. Because what story about Key West doesn't
include Ernest Hemingway? Right. So Ernest Hemingway, famous author, he famously lived in Key West and also in Cuba for quite a while. And so Hemingway would frequent Joe Russell's window. And that's how Hemingway and Joe Russell became friends.
Yep. I heard he liked to drink.
Just a little.
Okay.
You can tell. Hemingway had a reputation. So anyway, he becomes friends with Joe Russell. So after Prohibition, Joe Russell had accumulated enough money doing this illegal rum running business that he was able to open his own bar. And so he opens his own bar in Key West. And of course, Hemingway, because he's friends with Joe Russell, hangs out then at this bar. Hemingway, as we know, also used to go to Cuba a lot. And when he would go to Cuba, he would hang out at a bar in Cuba called the Jose Garcia Havana Club. Okay. In the Jose Garcia Havana Club, they sold a variety of foods, but one of the foods that they sold was a version of a Cuban food called the ropa vieja. This is a Cuban food that it's shredded steak with tomatoes, garlic, cumin, chili powder, paprika, capers, olives, and you stew it all together. And at the Jose Garcia Havana Club, they would take that meat and then they made it handheld and they'd make a sandwich out of that. And so Hemingway would get that sandwich. And then when he came back to Key West, he wanted that sandwich. And so he convinced Joe Russell to create a version of that sandwich in Key West. I don't really know. Maybe it was easier to get ground beef instead of shredded steak. Yeah, or cheaper. But, basically similar situation where it's a stewed beef with tomatoes and spices.
Yep.
And then
put it on
a bun. So the name comes a little more roundabout. So Jose Garcia Havana Club, the drink that is popular in Cuba is a mojito.
Okay.
Which takes a lot of ice.
Yes.
And so that club had a lot of ice in the club. And so the floor would end up getting very slippery from the ice that was like melting all over the floor.
Because they were like, what, giant ice blocks back then?
Yeah. So the floor would get slippery and stuff like that. And so Hemingway would jokingly call the Jose Garcia Havana Club Sloppy Joes because, Joe from Jose.
Yeah.
And then the wet floor being sloppy. So the bar in Key West that Hemingway goes to, basically Hemingway convinces Joe Russell that he should actually name this bar Sloppy Joes because Hemingway had that like pet name for his other bar that he would go to in Cuba. And then Joe,
and he's a writer.
His name was Joe.
He's like, this is good.
And
we need to use this.
Yeah. So anyway, Joe Russell is convinced by Hemingway to name his bar Sloppy Joes. They sell this version of the sandwich that comes from Cuba.
And thus the Sloppy Joe as we know it today.
The Sloppy Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a crazy, that was a very involved story.
It's a very involved tale. And I got all of that information. So what's fun is the Sloppy Joe's bar still exists.
Okay.
You can go to it in Key West. Yeah, you can go to it in Key West. You can hang out there. They've got, merchandise, shirts, and all that stuff. But all of that history information that I got was actually from the Sloppy Joe's bar website. And their website is sloppyjoes.com. So, that story is a lot more fun than the Iowa story. But I also feel like there's a lot more facts.
Yeah, and more detail.
Yeah. Like the Iowa story, I'm not saying that it is not true.
It's very vague, though.
But it's very vague. Yeah. Why the chef just happened to be named Joe. We don't actually know.
Yeah, where
that it was a person. What was Joe's last name? We don't actually know the person. A chef who happened to be named Joe. Yeah, where does the sloppy come from?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yep, I'm a fan of any Hemingway story, so I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah,
I like that better. Yep, we choose that one.
That one wins. Yeah. But both supposedly invented in the 30s, realistically.
Okay.
Yeah. So who knows? Sloppy Joes were so old.
I definitely didn't.
I didn't either.
So now we think we know where the Sloppy Joe came from. And it involved Ernest Hemingway. We're positive.
Yes, absolutely. And Cuba. And rum running.
And rum running.
Prohibition. Everything goes back to Prohibition.
Yep. So Sloppy Joes basically would not have existed without Prohibition.
Yeah, correct.
And the Depression, probably too. But then, obviously, we're still eating Sloppy Joes today. Mm-hmm. They've risen to another level of, I think, well-known American cuisines, which is also kind of funny since we think it ties back to Cuba, but that is, I'm pretty sure, a pretty iconic American dish now.
A Sloppy Joe. Yeah.
Right?
It feels like built into our culinary history.
I was kind of curious how the popularity of the Sloppy Joe developed and then when it really became rooted in our food scene.
Yeah.
Right.
You go to a grocery store and get
a canned
Sloppy Joe mix.
Yes. Right. So I did find in this article that according to Andrew F. Smith in the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink in America, that the sandwich was firmly established in America's sandwich culture by 1948. So what, 20-some years later, it's really, I guess at that point, spread.
Yeah.
Right. Enough to be recognized by a lot of people. Mm-hmm. It's not just a bar in Key West.
Or even just a spot in Iowa, if that is where it came from. Right? Either way, it's diffused quite a bit.
Yes. And then in the 1950s, they started coming out with more conveniently packaged foods, right? A lot more canned goods, things like that were shelf stable. And Libby's came out with a barbecue sauce and beef Sloppy Joe, which was canned and included the meat in the can.
Oh, so it's like a canned chili sort of situation.
Yes. But they say, and they call it barbecue sauce, which I think is a little bit, I mean, that's to me a little stretch. I suppose the barbecue sauce can be tomato based with, you know, some other things. But I think the fact that you add like peppers and onions and sometimes, you know, other seasonings makes it a little bit more distinct from barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Me personally.
Yeah, agree.
But that's a good example of, I mean, that could be found on store shelves. So people were definitely purchasing things like that and making it. And then you just, you know, spoon it out, heat it up, and put it on a bun. In the 1960s, there's some examples of different advertisements and things where the Sloppy Joes were becoming, you know, much more popular in terms of you're seeing them advertised as an easy to make quick meal that everybody loves.
Right.
So like in this 1960 article, you know, they claim that Sloppy Joes were popular with all ages. And then they have an article to suggest other things that you could add to Sloppy Joes. So, and I thought this was interesting too. So I've never eaten anything else with Sloppy Joes, I don't think.
Like it's not on it.
Yeah.
I might have like fries on the side or something.
Right, right. But the sandwich itself would just be the meat and the sauce.
Yes. Yeah.
No condiments or anything else because it's all right there. It's an all-in-one deal, right?
All-inclusive sandwich.
But yeah, in the 1960s, they suggested adding things such as shredded cheese, which I guess I could understand that one. Sliced tomatoes. I don't know. That seems weird. Sliced onions. I could see that being pretty good because, I mean, just more onion. Yes. Yeah. But then the strangest one was chopped peanuts. How do you feel about chopped peanuts on top of your Sloppy Joe in your sandwich?
Wait, what?
Chopped peanuts.
I guess it would add a crunchy.
Well, that's what I was thinking is I don't know that I really want a crunch when I'm eating a Sloppy Joe.
That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know that I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things I could see. Pickles, maybe.
Yep.
But peanuts.
Yeah, chopped peanuts. They were crazy in the 60s.
I mean, it's true. They were like Jell-O molding.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. They had a lot of weird combos out there.
Yeah.
I'm glad that one didn't stick.
Yeah, same. I'm glad a lot of the foods from the 60s didn't stick.
And then, so around the same time in the 1960s, like McCormick Seasonings came out with a Sloppy Joe seasoning where it comes in a pouch, and then you add tomato sauce and the beef at home. And again, you're seeing these things show up in like magazine ads. It's definitely being promoted.
Right.
And then in 1969, arguably the most iconic brand name associated with the sandwich comes out, and that would be Manwich.
I feel like I know that you can still get a McCormick Sloppy Joe packet.
Oh, really?
But
does anyone not buy Manwich if they're going to buy a pre-made
I feel like
if
you're going to make a Sloppy Joe and not make it homemade, you're just buying a can of Manwich.
Yeah. Like I definitely struggle to separate the two.
Right. I think Manwich has become almost synonymous. Yeah. Like the same as the Sloppy Joe.
Yep. I agree. So that was introduced by Hunt's and Conagra brand. They promote it as a quick weeknight meal option, and they were looking to expand their canned goods offering. So obviously the Sloppy Joe was a popular enough sandwich at this point that they felt that would be a good
expansion of the market.
Yes, and that it would be popular. And their original tagline was, "A sandwich is a sandwich, but a manwich is a meal."
See, all-inclusive sandwich.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Meal. It's got everything you need. Just like, yeah. And then the name Manwich, not that exciting, but it really is just a combination of man and sandwich. So they must have felt that Sloppy Joes had a manly vibe. I mean, they're named after Joe. So sure.
Yeah. Man, it's a portmanteau.
A portmanteau.
Man and sandwich.
Man sandwich. Which, when you say it like that, doesn't sound great. I don't know.
It's loose meat man sandwich.
Oh my God. We should be in charge of their marketing.
Yeah. No. Yikes. All right.
So
Manwich.
Yes. And so I do have the list of ingredients here because I was very curious specifically what they put.
Yeah, is a Manwich a different?
So first ingredient is tomato puree, obviously. So it's a tomato-based sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Then high fructose corn syrup because, America. And then
accurate.
Yeah. And then distilled vinegar and less than 2% of salt, modified potato starch, which I assume is like thickener.
Yeah.
Dried green bell peppers, which I cannot taste, by the way, because I love Manwich and I do not like green peppers, but I've never been able to taste probably because they're dehydrated.
Yeah. And the tomato sauce and probably the high fructose corn syrup is.
That probably does wonders for covering up flavor. So dried green bell peppers, dried red bell peppers, chili pepper, guar spices. So just spices. And then xanthan gum, water, citric acid, garlic powder, and natural flavor.
All right.
Yeah, I love how descriptive our ingredient requirements are.
Yeah. Spices. But specifically calling out garlic powder.
Yes, I did notice that. So
there must be enough garlic powder that it warrants its own call out versus spices are like trace amounts.
Yeah, they don't call out any other seasonings. So who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? So anyway, if you've ever had Manwich, it's delicious. Definitely, like I said, I think it's become pretty synonymous with Sloppy Joe.
And that was 1969.
That was 1969 when it first came out. By 1977, it was popular enough that they added a family size can, so like a larger can version that they could sell as well. And then I also found that by 1972, James Beard, who you might recognize from the James Beard Award, Food Award.
Yes. Famous chef.
He begrudgingly added the recipe to his 1972 James Beard's American Cookery. And in it, he says the Sloppy Joe is, quote, a product of the modern age. And though it is not a palate-tingling delight, it has a large following. Which I feel like is very begrudging and also like...
Yeah. Is it not a palate-tingling delight?
I think it is. I think he's underselling it.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't understand why everybody likes this. And like, I don't know, James Beard.
I mean, it's a quick, delicious family meal.
Yeah. It sounds very judgy to me.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I guess he probably was a little judgy if he's the James Beard Award and all that.
Well, yes. I know that's his job. But don't be above the Sloppy Joe.
Right. All foods.
That's a bad look.
Created equal.
Yeah. Also, you may be familiar with now Manwich offers two other flavors, you would call them. One that's bold, which is supposed to be, I guess, more flavorful, more spices in it. Though I read that it's not really.
Yeah, I remember having the bold once and I was underwhelmed.
Yeah. So generally the internet does not suggest the bold.
Yeah.
But then also thick and chunky, which I think has bigger pieces of pepper and onion.
Yeah, I've definitely never heard of thick and chunky.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I think, to be honest, sometimes I just add my own onion.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would be better.
Yeah.
To me, the Manwich is really just about the sauce.
Yeah.
You got a good thing going with the original. Just stick with it.
Right.
And then also, fun fact, Manwich is vegan, which I think is kind of funny because it's intended to be used for a meat sandwich. But
as I am now vegetarian.
Right.
Obviously not at the time when this Sloppy Joe incident story occurred.
Right, because you were eating.
But as a vegetarian, I've made Manwich with lentils. Obviously, you could use like any kind of
faux meat.
Yeah, Morningstar veggie crumble or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just take the can. Yeah, lentils is a good choice. I mean, you could do beans of any sort, really. I guess peanuts.
You just like coat peanuts in sauce.
Yeah. So if you're looking for, a plant-based meatless Monday meal, Manwich would actually be a great choice.
Yeah.
Make a pot of lentils, put the sauce on.
Yeah.
It'd be delicious.
Yep. I mean, it's really good on just about anything. I don't know. It's just a very good sauce. It's all the corn syrup.
Probably. It's just sugar.
Yeah. It is good.
Yeah.
And it's very easy. So I can't believe that I've never been to the Manwich website. I don't know why.
I too am shocked at the fact that I also have never seen the Manwich.
So I went to the Manwich website and there's some fun facts. So they have a whole Did You Know page on their website celebrating the Sloppy Joe. So they say the Australian version of the Sloppy Joe is called a savory mince roll, and it's served in a pita pocket. Though that kind of sounds different to me, but that's okay. That's fine.
Australian version.
There's a restaurant in Las Vegas that serves a catfish sloppy joe, which honestly, I'm imagining like minced up catfish.
Yeah, that's what. Is it like ground catfish, or would it be like sliced? I'm curious about how that is even working.
Yeah. A Washington, D.C. steakhouse once served a $24 sloppy joe.
I mean, given today's economy.
I know, right? Not even surprising.
Yeah, D.C.'s expensive as heck.
Yeah, it was probably a bougie version, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe not.
Wagyu beef.
Yeah. They have some suggestions for other ways to eat sloppy joes, like on top of a baked potatoes or a King's Hawaiian roll, which actually sounds really good.
Yeah.
Or making tacos, because it's, pretty similar to taco meat, actually.
American.
American.
Yeah, U.S. taco meat. They have the competing origin stories.
They do. They mention both of them. They don't.
Yeah. They don't really get into details.
Correct. But they do mention both.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite is different regional names for sloppy joes, because I've honestly never heard it called anything else.
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's always been. If someone says sloppy joe, I'm thinking the ground meat, and I would never have a different name for it.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Me either. So if you do, I'd be fascinated to hear about that.
Same.
And where you live.
Yes.
Hit us up on Instagram.
Yes. Because some of these names, apparently in Rhode Island, they call them dynamites.
Yeah. Well, and they specifically say on here Northern Rhode Island, which, Rhode Island's very small.
It is not.
So it must be, there must be a very specific area of Northern. Okay. Yeah. And then they have in the upper Midwest and southeastern Pennsylvania, they're called barbecues. Uninventive.
Yeah.
Central Minnesota sloppy Janes.
Wonder why we've switched gender in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's not like it's a different meat or something. Yeah. Because that seems like it would be like an alternative thing. Like maybe you could call your vegetarian like lentil one.
A sloppy Jane. That'd be nice.
Or a sloppy some other name.
Yes, that would be nice.
To make it a little bit like distinct. And then in eastern Colorado, they call it a juicy burger. Meh. Southeastern Wisconsin, specifically Sheboygan, hot tamales, which seems
that's not even a tamale.
Yeah. I know it's very confusing because like tamales are a whole other
very different food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Southern Illinois and St. Louis, yip yips. Which is only slightly better than parts of Nebraska, which call it yum yums.
Yeah. Okay. Yum sucker. Yum yums.
Yum yum.
Yum yums.
Northeastern Pennsylvania, Wimpy's, which is a nod to Popeye, and he had his friend who was named Wimpy, who was always eating a ton of hamburgers.
Yeah.
Like he loved hamburgers.
Oh yeah, he was like a Jughead situation.
Yes. Yeah. In Iowa, tavern sandwiches, and then in the upper Midwest and North Dakota, slush burgers, which is better than loose meat sandwich, I still think.
So what's fascinating to me is like a lot of these regional names for this food, though, are in the Midwest near Iowa,
I agree.
Where supposedly sloppy joes were invented by a guy named Joe.
Yeah.
And I just find it hard. I guess that's why I just feel like there's a lot more credibility to the Key West story in this instance than the Iowa story, because there's so many different terms for this situation that are existing in that part of the Midwest.
Yeah, and they specifically have on the list for Iowa that they're called tavern sandwiches.
Right.
So what it kind of makes me wonder is if the people who are claiming that it really came from Iowa, maybe they're trying to say like, we had like this
versions.
This was the idea.
Sure.
But it wasn't actually, there's no way the name
came
from there, right? Like when there's literally a bar called Sloppy Joe's that serve this kind of sandwich.
Right. That still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More like I think Iowa or other places were probably making these tavern sandwiches or similar type dishes.
A similar situation.
Yeah. And then as the Sloppy Joe became more popular,
were like, oh, that's like our food and we have a food like that or something.
Like it's similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love hearing all these regional names, but I do want to go back to New Jersey because I learned that New Jersey also has a food that is called a sloppy Joe, but it is absolutely not this food. So a New Jersey sloppy Joe, if you are in New Jersey.
I've never heard of this.
I have not either, but from what I have read on the internet, it is very well known in parts of New Jersey as a sloppy Joe. And people who grew up in New Jersey with sloppy Joes, when they leave New Jersey, are shocked to learn that a sloppy Joe is a manwich.
Right. Or a tomato sauce ground like sandwich.
So what a New Jersey sloppy Joe is that it is a double-decker rye bread sandwich. So picture like a club sandwich where there's 3 pieces of bread, and it's rye bread specifically, and then it's 2 different types of deli meat. So this could be turkey, ham, pastrami, corned beef, roast beef, right? So 2 different kinds of deli meat, specifically Swiss cheese, and then coleslaw.
Ooh.
And then Russian dressing.
Ooh, I love coleslaw and Russian dressing on a sandwich.
And cold. And served cold.
Okay.
So a New Jersey sloppy Joe is more of like a deli
sandwich. And the coleslaw and the dressing make it sloppy?
Well, actually, no.
Oh.
The name Sloppy Joe and why this sandwich is Sloppy Joe, it actually relates back to the same bar in Cuba.
Really?
Yes.
So
Jose Garcia Havana Club also plays a role in the story of the New Jersey Sloppy Joe. And it's because in South Orange, which is a town in New Jersey, there's a nearby town named Maplewood. And the mayor of Maplewood, Thomas Sweeney, went to Cuba, went to the Jose Garcia Havana Club.
Yeah, man, that was the place to be.
And apparently another type of sandwich that was served at that bar because, they had multiple options on their menu.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the Ropa Vieja. They had a sandwich that was a double-decker sandwich, rye bread, and it had ham and cow tongue slices, and then the Swiss cheese and the coleslaw and the dressing. And so when that mayor came back to New Jersey, he went to this town hall deli in South Orange and asked them to make a sandwich like the one he had at Sloppy Joe's in Cuba.
Oh my gosh.
And so they make this deli sandwich. And like I said, the original was cow tongue. You could theoretically still get that as the meat, but he offered it with any of his deli meats. And they named it the Sloppy Joe. And then it became popular from that deli in New Jersey. And then it spread to nearby towns in New Jersey. And so
but it just never expanded from there then.
Yes. But in parts of New Jersey, that is a Sloppy Joe. And it's well known.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also ties to that Havana bar.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which just makes me think that it lends even more credibility to the Havana origin story of what the rest of the United States knows as a Sloppy Joe.
And how Ernest Hemingway came up with the name Sloppy Joe, and actually it's stuck on multiple foods.
On multiple foods. Because of that
locations. Yeah, because of that bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Right? What a weird deep dive that I feel like I went down to figure out where these Sloppy Joes were from.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting.
I thought so.
I'm also 100% now. Cuba all the way.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Cuba story.
I agree. And I'm not denying that Iowa didn't have a similar food.
Right. Agreed.
But when it comes to why we call it Sloppy Joe, I feel like I'm pro Cuba all the way.
Yep. Yes. Agreed. Yep. So what do you think of when you think of a Sloppy Joe?
Oh. Well, obviously I think of our friendship.
Well, yes. I mean, okay, so after our friendship story, what other
things come to mind of Sloppy Joe?
What would be the forefront?
The first thing that's going to pop into my mind is Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Joe.
Yes.
It's Adam Sandler.
Yes, Adam Sandler and Chris Farley in an iconic SNL sketch called Lunch Lady Land, where Adam Sandler is singing about cafeteria foods.
Yes.
And the lunch lady.
And at the end,
And then how does it go?
It just goes, Sloppy Joe, Sloppy, Sloppy Joe. And then the end of the song is like, down here in a lunch lady land.
Okay. So I've only seen it like once or twice, really. I should watch it again.
So the funny part is, I don't know that I've ever watched it because I had an Adam Sandler CD.
Oh, that's right. You said you listened to it on the CD.
Yeah. When I was in high school, we had an iconic Adam Sandler CD that had all of his classic songs on it. We listened to that CD all the time because we had nothing better to do with our lives, apparently, in high school than listen to an Adam Sandler CD. So yeah, that's what I think of when I think.
I mean, to be fair, he was pretty big back then.
Yes.
He was in his heyday, really, I feel. Yeah. Because then the next year after that, he came out with Billy Madison, which was very popular and also made a reference to Sloppy Joes, which I think is interesting. So, like, I don't know, maybe he loves a Sloppy Joe.
Maybe he loved a Sloppy Joe.
Everybody loves a Sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
Joe. Well, my mind, when I think of Sloppy Joe, goes to a scene in a 1995 movie called It Takes Two.
Yes.
Which is basically
a classic
ripoff of the Parent Trap.
Except with the Olsen twins.
Yes, featuring Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Yes.
Who were also in their heyday.
Yes.
They were like making movies left and right, Mary-Kate and Ashley.
But so it doesn't have to be Lindsay Lohan and Lindsay Lohan. It was actually two separate people.
Right.
It was actually twins this time.
Yes. Actual twins. But then Kirstie Alley and Steve Guttenberg were also in it too. And they have like a little love story. Yeah. But weirdly, in It Takes Two, they're not related.
Yes.
They're like
doppelgangers.
Like they run into each other and realize that they look the same, but they're not related.
So actually, It Takes Two is more of a Prince and the Pauper type story.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, it also is Parent Trappy.
Because they do it to get the Kirstie Alley and Steve Guttenberg characters together. Like they plot to get them together.
They plot to get them together. But it is like a Prince and the Pauper meets the Parent Trap situation. Because one of them is scrappy on the streets.
Yeah. She's an orphan. Yeah.
I think she's an orphan. And Kirstie Alley's in charge of the orphanage. Yeah. And then the other one has like a yacht club.
Yeah. She's very rich.
She's rich.
Yeah.
But then they run into each other and realize that they look the same. So they switch lives.
Yeah. So they switch places. Yeah. I feel like I need to watch this movie again. It was crazy. We used to watch it a lot. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen era.
It was. We were obsessed.
Right? Like double, toil and trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
One.
Yeah. So during this, after they switch places, the rich doppelganger goes to a summer camp that the poor orphan would normally attend.
Yes.
Okay. So they go to a summer camp. And they're sitting down in the cafeteria and it's Sloppy Joe Day. And she's sitting there and she's looking at it. She's never seen a Sloppy Joe. She's not sure about it. Yeah,
have had a
Sloppy Joe. And she's looking at it and kind of like poking it a little bit. And then she's watching all these other kids around her. And they're literally going to town on these. There's one kid who's like smashing it into his face and like licking the bun. It's so over the top. And she's kind of horrified, but also confused. Like, I can't understand.
I would also be horrified. In fairness.
I think
it doesn't matter your level of economic status. I would also be horrified.
Yeah, he's making weird noises too. So anyway, she tentatively picks it up, takes a little taste, and then of course realizes how delicious it is and smashes it into her face. Like, the eating of these Sloppy Joes is so overly sloppy. But I mean, I remember I would see that and I would want Sloppy Joes. I'm just like, yeah, those are so good. And look at how much they're enjoying them. And it's not only a sloppy sandwich, but they're being sloppy eating it. Yeah. I get hardcore nostalgia for that scene.
Don't then they have a food fight?
Yes, then there's a food fight.
There's a food fight. I feel like a lot of 90s movies had food fights in them.
Yeah.
And honestly, a little confusing because I feel like I expected food fights to break out a lot more than they did.
And yep, they never did.
I don't think I've ever been in a food fight.
Nope, I have not.
No.
And also incidentally, her enjoying the Sloppy Joe is a little bit of a clue to Kirstie Alley that she's not who she said she is.
Yeah.
Because Kirstie Alley is like, that's your favorite meal. And she's like, oh, yeah, of course. The big, gooey, messy burger. She doesn't know what it's called. And Kirstie was like, or also known as a Sloppy Joe. And she's like, yeah.
I just invented that name.
So also big plot point there, like red flag, Kirstie Alley.
Yep. It's big, gooey, messy burger.
This is not
arguably better than loose meat sandwich.
I think everything is better than loose meat sandwich, but yes, I would take big, gooey,
messy burger. And hot tamale.
Yeah, even though it's grossly inaccurate. So those are my favorite instances of Sloppy Joes kind of becoming part of pop culture as well, right? So
yeah,
it's kind of amazing too, because we're still talking about it here now in 2024. There's also been references about that kind of sandwich in The Simpsons, Futurama.
Futurama has like the Manwich.
Yeah, specifically a Manwich joke. Yeah. So I don't know. It's very established food here.
Yeah.
Which I hadn't really thought about.
Except if you're in New Jersey, and then it's also an established food, but not the same food.
Different. Completely different. Yeah, that's crazy too. I just can't get into that there's a whole other sloppy
food. I know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coleslaw on a sandwich though sounds pretty good.
I love coleslaw on a sandwich. It's just a vehicle for more mayonnaise on my sandwich.
Fair. When you first proposed this episode, obviously I was totally on board.
Yes.
But also I was like, do we have enough information
about
to talk about Sloppy Joes
for
an entire episode? And then I went down that whole rabbit hole story with the Hemingway and everything else. And I was like...
And been around since the 1920s?
Yeah.
Like...
Who knew?
So Sloppy Joe's over 100 years old.
Yeah. Which I also never would have thought of.
No.
It just wouldn't have occurred to me.
No. I definitely associate it more with the Manwich that comes in a can and it being more of like a 50s, 60s.
Yeah, 1960s.
Yeah.
Sort of food.
I had no idea. Such a fascinating origin story.
I know. I feel like I learned a lot more than I anticipated learning in this episode. Obviously, one, that, our friendship has sustained the test of time.
Most importantly.
Because of Sloppy Joes.
Because of Sloppy Joes.
I think my initial shock of just first looking up where Sloppy Joe was invented and finding out that it was Key West.
Yeah.
Was initially very shocking to me. And then the whole story was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But also from Key West... I never would have guessed that.
I would not have either.
I never would have guessed that.
In fact, at first, I would kind of thought the Iowa story made sense because that sounds like a Midwest kind of sandwich.
Yeah, for sure.
It just kind of seemed like, beef. That totally could have been invented in the Midwest. Yeah. And like you said, they did have similar things.
I fully believe that they had that sandwich.
Yeah. But and then Ernest Hemingway, like what the, like.
I know.
That blew my mind.
He basically named that food.
Yep. That was my favorite fact. The Sloppy Joe and Ernest Hemingway. I never would have connected those two dots.
No.
Ever in a million years.
That is, and that's when I just get excited when we're doing this podcast. Because I'm like, what? How? Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed going along for this ride with us.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn some core memories from our friendship.
Yes. One of the most iconic symbols of our 20-year friendship is the Sloppy Joe.
The Sloppy Joe incident.
Yeah. And if you're like us, you're probably hungry now for a Sloppy Joe, and you should definitely put it in your meal rotation soon.
Yeah, or plant-based version.
Yes, right.
Equally good. I can vouch.
Yep.
Definitely delicious. And you could even crumble tofu.
Oh, yeah.
Sauce would be great.
You could put that sauce on anything and it would taste good. So be creative.
Yeah. So once again, thank you for sticking in with us, listening to our podcast. We hope you're continuing to enjoy. If you have a minute and want to give us a review.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah. Now go enjoy a Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Joe.
Thank you for listening to Researching the Obvious. To learn more fun facts about everything that we're researching, follow us on Instagram at Researching the Obvious Pod, all one word. You can also follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you know someone that you think would enjoy listening to all of our findings, please feel free to share or give us a review. Researching the Obvious is written, produced, edited, and hosted by Emily Fekete and Katie Nakanishi. Tune in next time to hear more obvious facts.